we'll just start from the start all over again. Yeah.
Okay. So
act like we never said anything.
right. Okay. So Arnie, by the way,
Yo.
I was on a podcast with Lena, and Lena told me that she's the funniest guest that I'll ever have, and that you don't stand a chance.
Can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah, go ahead.
That bitch. Okay.
All right.
No, that's totally cool. That's cool. I'm not like
Cool.
totally gonna unfollow her now and never talk to her again. But look, she could look. Everyone has their truth, you know. Like that's her truth. I might disagree. Well, we'll see. Let's find out. This will be fun.
Let's find out. So yeah, welcome to the Nathaneal Podcast. Today we have a special guest, good friend of mine, the Arnie Ho. The Arnie Ho. So to anyone who's watching and is not familiar, who I don't know who's not familiar with the Arnie Ho, right? Like who isn't? You know what I mean?
There's plenty of people, but
would you like to introduce yourself, Arnie?
Oh, okay. Sure. So I'm the Arnie Ho. And the reason why I'm the Arnie Ho, let's go into that for a second, is because there's some random guy who took Arnie Ho. Like, why is there another Arnie Ho out there? It's a pretty uncommon name, I would have thought. But apparently there's an Arnie Ho out there. So I couldn't get Arnie Ho. So I went with, and his name's not even Arnie Ho. His name's Arnold Hoem. Like, his name's Arnold Ho HN. And he took Arnie Ho. Like, bro. Anyway, so that's why I took the Arnie Ho. So that's who I am. Do you want to know more?
Yeah. So you do consulting on X, or like how would you, like, if someone asks you what do you do for a living, what do you tell them?
What do I do for a living?
Yeah.
I write some stuff on I swear you're the funny one. This is why it's so funny. It's you. You're the magic. I write some stuff online and
post covers. Oh, you're right, dude. You did it, dude. Why did you steal my thing? That's something that we should talk about right here.
What thing?
You started playing guitar on X. What's that about?
No, but you did that first. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I stole it. Okay, I get what you mean. Okay.
No, just kidding.
Okay. Let's. All right. Let me do the. This is your podcast. I'm just gonna let me introduce myself just really quickly.
Okay.
My experience before doing this whole X thing was being a management consultant. Like I've done that for 7 years. Then I found out about this Dan Co. I was going to say Jack Co. I don't know. Oh yeah, Jack's Dan Co.'s Jack's Dan Co.'s like beta cousin somewhere who's just like a light version of Dan Co. Jack Co. Anyway, I heard about him and just saw this whole thing about writing to make a living. It was like, okay, whatever. He convinced me after watching a ton of his content. And then I started writing 6 months ago online, learned a bunch, was like, struggled a bunch, but eventually found my way, got myself a mentor and learned a ton from them. And things started to click. I started basically learning how to do this whole X writing thing and started making money from it. And I've made enough money now to stop working 9 to 5. So, which is kind of cool. And now what I do is I help clients out with building their personal brand, help them get out of working 9 to 5 or make an income whilst studying to eventually not have to go into the workplace. There's people like that too. And hop onto podcasts with cool people like you.
Yeah. One thing though that I really like about you is you kind of brand yourself as a fun dad. You have videos. You have videos of yourself like with your family, which is like really great.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, and that's actually like part of how we got connected because I saw your
Yeah.
story. Um, yeah, like that was yeah, literally like you came onto my radar when I was just like on X and I saw your post. And
Yeah.
it was about like your story. I don't know if it's your pin post anymore, but you talk about your whole story in there.
Yeah.
And I mean, for those who don't know your story on the pod, which I assume they should because this is the Nathaniel podcast, but I'll
Yeah.
just do it anyway for any new listeners. You talk about basically never, I think your dad left your family at a young age, was
Yeah.
it?
I never met my dad. Like,
Oh, you never met your dad, right?
yeah.
So I'm in the same boat as well. Like I never met my dad, and that's when I like kind of instantly connected with that. You know that we're fellow bastards, and
plus, we both have like black and white profile pictures.
we have
That's
black and
what I
white profile
noticed.
picture. I mean
Yeah.
that I feel like I have a black and white profile picture because of Jack Coe. So I mean Dad Coe.
You have a very dude. I used your profile picture. So I had a workshop, and I used your profile picture as like the model for like profile.
A good
pictures.
profile picture.
Yeah, so it's like, I put in a bad profile picture, which is a blurry picture, and then I put in yours, and I'm like, this man is the Arnie Ho, right? Like that's the profile picture you should be aiming for, like looking up, like you're in heaven or something, and you're black and white, and you're smiling. Like that.
Do you know? It's actually really funny because that photo was taken about a month before I used it, and it was just random because it was in Japan that I took that photo. So I was in Japan with my family, and my wife like took a photo of me. She's like, "Oh, like just pose. Like this might make a good headshot for something." And this was before I wanted to do anything on X, and yeah, it would like turn out to be a great photo, and I was like, I'll just use it. And then bloody Jack Coe with his black and white photo, I think it gets everyone. And so I was like, I'll just do black and white as well because that's what all the cool kids do. And so it's black and white. I've always actually wanted to change it to color, but
Yeah.
I'm so burnt by changing. I changed my profile picture once, and that was just to change the background. And then I was so burnt by that experience that I never want to do it again because you lose your blue tick, and it was really bad.
Oh yeah, it takes so long, right, to go back.
Well, I'm like really scarred because I'm dumb, right? I changed my profile picture just before my release of my giveaway. So when I was doing my giveaway, my blue tick was gone.
Yeah.
So it killed my reach, and then on top of that, I think it limits how many DMs you can send as well.
Oh, really?
So when I was trying to get people to, without a blue tick, I that's my theory, but I kept getting like messages saying you can't send DMs. And I was like, what the heck? Like this is bullshit. So I'm so scarred from changing my profile picture. So I'm just going to leave it. Is what it is.
It's funny. I think we also, dude, we're like mental twins or something. Because like, that's the exact, like how you got your photo is the exact same sort of method.
Did my wife take a photo for you?
How I got my photo. Because like I was in a holiday with my girlfriend, and we were so there's an island in the Philippines. So there's 3 islands, and then the lowest island, it's called Davao, or not Davao, Mindanao, but there's a city there called Davao, and then we took a holiday there. And then she just took a photo of me as well, like randomly. And like I looked at that photo, I'm like, dude, I look so hot in that. I saw that photo, I'm like, man, bro, like this photo is dope.
It slaps. Yes.
Yeah. Like,
spot on. Yeah, well, exactly how I felt. I was like, "This is a free photo. Like, this is great. I should probably use it for something." And that, kids, is how I started. That's the whole story. I took that photo. I was like, I need to go in X, and I need to go make money so I could quit working 9 to 5. So that's it. That's basically it. But the advice for everyone then should really be, if you want a good profile picture, you need to go get yourself a girlfriend or a wife,
Yeah.
go on holiday, and get to take a photo of you. That's
Exactly.
that. I'm gonna put
Exactly.
that in my workshop.
So that's the key, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, Especially for the Arnie Ho, if you're struggling to rebrand right now, if you're not getting any conversion, just go on a holiday. I mean, first get a wife or a girlfriend, go on a holiday, and take a photo. But okay, but I do want to know before like everything else. So you mentioned like you had a 9 to 5. Like I want to go back to the very beginning. So what was your plan, like maybe in your childhood or your high school, anything, like when did you have a vision of like the future, and what was that initial vision? Did you think that you would really be a entrepreneur, or how did that go?
Um, when I was, as in like starting out.
No,
Sorry, what do you mean?
like early childhood, maybe, I don't, like when you were a child, did you have any dreams, or in high school, like what was your initial vision for your life? Basically, that was kind of like a question.
Gee, I mean, I don't know about you, but like growing up, I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna become anyone special. Like I never, not that I am now, but I'm just like, I think actually my childhood dream job was actually to be a comedian. So,
Oh yeah.
so Lena,
I knew it.
I wanted to be a comedian. No joke. I just loved comedians. I loved watching comedians when I was young, and I thought this is so much fun. Like they just get to tell jokes and make people happy, and I loved it so much. And then eventually, it just like I don't know. I just because it wasn't around that environment or whatnot, and you learn about reality, and you kind of like, oh, I'm not going to bother doing that. I'll do something else. So,
Yeah.
yeah, basically, I stepped away from that and decided. Well, I didn't even pursue it. So that's probably the other thing. Didn't pursue it, but that was probably the only thing. And then I guess in terms of career and stuff, like I've never gone, oh, I want to be this thing.
Yeah.
Like I've always just gone, I have firmly kind of stayed true to my key ideals of like I want to be doing something meaningful, I want to have fun, and I want to be learning.
I see.
They're kind of the three criterias for like all the jobs and things that I've always done. And then time has always been like time with family and friends, like that's always been important to me. So they're kind of like the things that I've wanted, but yeah, to do anything not specifically. But on that point, the reason why I got into this though was like last year, I had this kind of epiphany moment while reading. Like I've been reading a lot of books, particularly Naval's book. If you know he's the Almanac of Naval Ravikant, and he talks about like building wealth and how you, instead of exchanging your time for money, you build equity and you build your assets and yeah, after that and after a lot of thinking, I sort of went, okay, I'm going to change. Like I want to put my potential into something long lasting that I don't know puts what I can do to good use. I don't know. Is that that's
yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah, I like it. I think what you were talking about was something like you're actually kind of focused more on the process, or like living more than achieving or vision. Does that make sense?
Sorry, dude. It literally cut out a little bit. Like, sorry. I don't know if I can.
Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you fine now. You're good now.
Okay. So I was just asking. It's like I think you were more focused on like living, and like just staying at, or you're more focused on the process of living more than like the outcome, like a goal in mind, things like that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, spot on. Yeah.
Dope.
I should have just said that. Like that's a way better answer. I just kind of like went around in circles trying to explain it, and then yeah.
No, yeah. At least now we know, because like I think that's what comedians do. I think that's why you're attracted to comedians, bro. Like if you still want to be a comedian, especially with the influence that you have right now, and after this podcast is going to be published, it's not too late.
Sorry, dude. It is cutting out quite a bit.
Right. So as I was mentioning, like people who can you hear me now?
Yep, I'm good. I just realized my microphone's not even plugged into this. so I don't even need to speak into a mic. I'm like going into the settings trying to like fix things, and I'm like, oh, okay. My microphone it's not even connected. So people are listening to this are just like, this microphone's not great. Like it just sounds like he's using a computer sound.
All right, hold on. Let me just. So we're doing this live. We're troubleshooting live. But
maybe
worry not, because we're actually recording in both our area.
Oh, okay.
Yo. How about now? We're good now?
It keeps like basically it stops recording whenever you start talking. I mean, it stops like it just like freezes when you start talking, basically. My internet's too crap. I need to pay for better internet.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Is your camera off?
Yeah, I turned off my camera. Did you turn off your camera?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's working though, right? Like,
yeah,
can you hear me now?
That's way better. That's
This is the first podcast I'm gonna do where there's just literally N and A on my screen.
I should use my mobile profile picture here.
All right. I mean, I don't know if I can edit that, but like I'll try to edit that. So yeah, we're doing this live. It's great. Anyways, as I was saying, like you were mentioning earlier about what's this, like staying at the moment, living more of the, like focusing on the process rather than the goal. And I think that's actually what comedians do. So they kind of like stay. That's why you think that they're witty, because they can come up with jokes on the spot. But really, it's because they don't have like written. Well, they do have written jokes, but in a way, they kind of go with the flow. So I guess if that's your trait, Arnie, it's like, it's never too late to like pursue a career there.
To transition over. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe. Never say never, right? If this if this podcast takes off and people start saying that this was the funniest podcast that they've listened to.
Exactly. How about this? How about you try it right now? You say a joke right now.
Just say a joke. Just pull one out my ass right now. I literally hate that when people go, "Hey, just say a joke." Like, do you think people do that with comedians? They're like, "Oh, you're a comedian. Just say a joke." Like,
exactly.
Like, what are they, like a freaking party trick? It's like a comedian. You just pull it out of the pocket. I don't think that's how comedians work, though. I think they just, just everything they do is just funny.
Right, of course. See, like exactly what you did there. You know what I mean? Exactly what you did
that's
there.
True.
You
that's
called
true.
me out, and then it was funny.
It was.
All right. So, moving on. I did want to ask you. So, like, when you started sorry, can you remind me again? What was your 9 to 5?
Yeah, management consulting.
Right. And could you like tell me more? Like, what do you do? What did you do at that point?
We just tell jokes all the time. No, No, management consultants. So they basically, what do they do? Well, I wasn't your typical management consultant because you have management consultants who just they make a lot of PowerPoint presentations.
Yeah.
No offense to all the management
You made
consultants out
stand-up
there who I'm kind of
stand-up presentations.
yeah. Well, I mean they they basically they send out they just write like 100-point PowerPoint slides to like companies, and they tell them like, hey, here's the things you can do. Look, there's a space for that. My gig was more about changing work cultures. So, like me and the team, like we would go out to big companies, like big corporates we're talking about, right? And they would need help basically becoming less shit. As in how they work, right? Like corporate world, like they typically are stuck in meetings. They do a lot of meaningless work. Their work is they're always fighting with one another because of the way they've structured themselves. So people like me or me and my team, we basically go out, teach these organizations like how they can work differently, coach them on how they can do things differently as well. Yeah, so I guess, with that in mind, like some of those skills I had kind of translated a bit into what I do now, in the sense of I do a lot of coaching consulting work with my clients. And that's really the stuff I did, just that the subject is different now.
Wow. That's a good job. Like
That's a good job. Why the heck did you leave?
I mean, it's like
I regret everything.
You're like a warrior in like a tribe, you know what I mean? And then you're like a freelance warrior, and then you go on tribes, and then you like kill the enemy, and then you go into another like tribe. You know what I mean?
That's how I explain it every single time I speak to an executive. I say, I'm like, so what do you do? I'm a freelancer that goes into your tribe and kills your enemies. I love that you thought of it that way, though. And honestly, like it's a cool way to think of it. And like, truth be told, unlike a lot of people, or maybe not quite, like that's a bit unfair, but I think a lot of people tend to hate on their day job, their 9-to-5 job. I never hated it. Like I don't hate it. I actually really love the company. Like it was a sweet gig. I was paid pretty well. We had really flexible hours actually. But it just like, I think about it in 3 ways, right, as to why I pursued this path. One is basically time freedom, like better time freedom. Like when you work in a company and you work, with clients, you don't quite have that. Like even though the company I work for was like, really flexible, you just don't have that level of time freedom. The other side of it is definitely a higher potential for making money. To put into context, like in the past 2 months now, like I'm earning almost double what I earned in my job, and it was pretty comfortable. Like the amount that I was earning in that job, but this has a greater earning potential, and I'm only just starting, right? And then the third thing is just doing something that's meaningful for me, i.e. being able to help, like genuinely, I know we make a meme about this, but genuinely helping change people's lives. I think that is like crazy cool. Whereas like before I was just working for big corporates trying to, in essence, help them. Time to wake up. In essence, I was helping them improve so that they could get richer, right? Yeah. So not as meaningful as actually working with like someone who wants to really change their life for the better. And at the same time, do work that really tests me and makes and forces me to learn like crazy. Like I'm sure you've probably experienced it probably in the last few months as well, of like just how much you learn by going through this entrepreneurial life.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It does push you because, I do say like you are the niche is kind of like overstated, but in a way, when you pursue entrepreneurship, it does become that way because like like you are the only bottleneck at a certain point, like your skills and your abilities and your like ability to focus and not chase what do they call it,
Shiny
like
objects.
women in the red dress, like shiny objects,
Yeah.
right? So it does force you to become disciplined, and it's really hard or it's more difficult because like you need to discipline yourself. It's not just if you do a bad job you're fired. It's like if you do a bad job, your whole career like everything's gonna fall apart.
Your whole business burns down. How are you going with that? Like, how have you? Because you stopped working, because were you waitering or something as well? Or?
No, I was doing a night shift.
Oh yeah, night
customer
shift.
service. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and then I was doing like I was getting paid, dude. The reason why I went all in with X, and I don't recommend anyone actually like just abandoning their like, dude. This is a side note. So many people come up to me and like tell me that I quit my job and like I went all in on X. You're my inspiration. I'm like, bro, like
Don't
chill, bro. Like, dude, like don't just quit your job and like go all in. The reason why I did that was because my job was literally like I wasn't getting paid at all. So in the company that I worked in, it was like, so I'm a customer service. I would answer emails, right? And because like there were not a lot of emails for the past few months, and I was just getting paid. There was 1 month that I got paid like $200 for a month, and it wasn't even enough to pay rent.
Oh, damn.
So it was like it got to a point where everyone was just competing, and it was like really toxic because like you would stay there for 8 hours and not get paid at all.
That's
you know what I mean?
so bad. So you're basically losing money.
Yeah, you're actually losing money.
You're losing money. No, you are. You're wasting your time.
Exactly.
Getting paid nothing. Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I think, and I don't know if you've seen this podcast, like Dickie Bush, Dickie Cole,
and Nicholas Bush.
Nicholas Bush, Dickie Cole, and Jack Coe. When you get older, and I feel like especially when you become a dad, you start doing that kind of shit all the time. Like, you're just like, oh, we should go to, instead of saying Disneyland, you're like, oh, Marvel Land? And you're like, what is that? You're like, when dads do that? I mean, we both don't have dads, but like when older people do that.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. So, what was I saying? Yes. So,
Dickie Cole, Nicholas
Dickie
Bush,
Cole,
and
Dickie Cole, Jack Coe. Dickie Cole went onto man, I hope Dad Coe doesn't unfollow me. I hope he doesn't.
If they hear this, like we're so dead, bro.
Dad Coe's gonna unfollow me after hearing this. Please don't unfollow me, Jack. What was I saying? Dickie Bush.
Podcast.
He goes on a podcast with Ali Abdaal, right? And
Yeah.
he actually talks about his journey because he, like, obviously years earlier, went on to X. PS was easier to grow back then. Went on to X and he talked about how he was actually doing working a 9 to 5, worked a really good job. And he was building this until it got to a point where he was just making way more money, just doing X, right? He's turned 10K, but he didn't quit straight away. And his advice was actually to tell people, don't just quit your job and do this. He waited 3 months before actually pulling the pin completely, from his day job. And the reason for it was, well, I guess 2 things he talked about. And I 100% agree with him. One is that when you're working another job, it really forces you to be productive when you do this thing. You can actually get a lot out of yourself in 2 to 4 hours, 2 to 3, 4 hours of just focused work. You can do a shit ton of stuff. And when you're working a job and trying to do this, it forces you to work. The other reason is because it stops you from being desperate. Yeah. And desperation it could go both ways, but more likely than not, it's usually turns out bad because you can't sell anything. You make really shitty decisions. You don't go and be kind and help people, which I feel like is one of the pillars actually for being able to improve and grow, and because network is everything. So I think for those 2 reasons, I agree. It's don't do what Nathaneal did, guys.
The neediness. We talk. What's her name? Lena. We actually talked about this last week. So Lena's
about how she's very needy. I'm joking, Lena. Love you.
About how most people on X, the people. I know you get this a lot. The people in the message request.
Far out. Oh boy.
And how, because you can smell it from a mile away when people are needy and desperate.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you less credible because it's I don't know, I feel like it has something to do with desperate people could scam you and things like that. At least that's my thinking behind it. It's when you see someone who's desperate, it's they will do anything, and that anything could includes scamming you. At least that's how I see it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's part of it. The other part of it is, the whole, it's part of social proof, right? The reason why we need social proof is so that we know whether we can trust someone. And if someone is needy and desperate, it means that they have no social proof, because the fact that they have to go out of their way and beg you to work with them, just makes it feel a bit shitty. Though in recent times, I've learned a lot about cold approaches to selling, and I think there's, newsflash, I'm sure people already know this, but there is definitely a space for cold. So by no means am I anti-cold at all. I think there's an art in it as well. I think it's kind of cool. Cold email especially is really powerful in the B2B space especially. Yeah. So don't want to rule it out. But that's a different, I think the psychology behind it is definitely different to on X when you get some there's one. I usually delete all my message requests because it's just way too spammy. Sometimes I get leads in there, so I don't I really find it annoying when I get a lot of crappy cold DMs. But there's one that I've always kept since February, and because I loved it, I never responded, but I loved it, and I'll read it to you now. I'll just pull it up. Give me a sec. Well, actually, the rest of it, I think this is common, but to me, I thought it was great. He wrote, "Yo, Arnie, dash. Wait a minute. I think you lost this crown emoji.
Oh.
Because you're worth gold in this space. And I thought I could bring you 2 cents. I just ignored it. But I love that bit. I never saw anyone do that before. And I was like, I like that. That's
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. I don't like it from the sense of, is it effective? I don't think it's effective at all. But I just thought it was cute that he did that. Is that it? That's a thing, yeah? Like, I feel like people do that. Use that.
Yeah, yeah. There was one who was sending me memes as well, and I like that. I never responded to him, but it was funny. Like, it made me chuckle.
You know the one that I hate a lot is when I had one where they sent me a video.
Uh-huh.
They sent me a video and they tried to make it out like it was a personalized video to me. And it just felt so gross. Like when, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, hey, I made a video for you, like, for this thing. And you just like watch the video and there's like zero personalization. And you're like, oh, okay, so you made a video for every single person you cold DM. Like, come on, bro. Anyway, it probably has a space. Like, I just don't get it, but
I
it
think
probably has a space.
I think it has a space. What you mentioned there, kind of like, and this is my theory right now. It works for B2B because you're talking to an entity like a business.
Yeah.
But when you're talking to personal brands on X, it is, it's like you can talk to that. You can just try imagining it on person, right? Like, if you go to a company, to their secretary or someone, and you tell them, I have a project for you or I have a pitch for you, it's kind of fine. But when you go up to a person who literally is a stranger, like you've never talked to them before, and then you just go up to them and then you just tell them, yo, like, I have an opportunity, a great opportunity for you. You will get more engagement. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's those people like on the street trying to like shove a flyer in your face.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And you're like, bro, please, like, and you just take it just to get away from them. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Like, I had another.
Wait, how did we get to this? Yeah.
we were talking about about like quitting jobs, and yeah, just to go back to that, it's like, don't quit your job. Like, the only reason why I did that is because like I had no job anyway, and I don't know, man. Like, I think it's in my DNA or something. I don't know. Like, I'm just like I feel like business is my excuse for my gambling addiction. I've never gambled in my life. Like, I've never gone to a casino and gambled, but X was like a really big gamble for me. And I just went insane. I was like, yeah, like, just fuck it, I'll die or whatever. Like,
what?
Yeah, dude, I invested on courses. Like,
yeah, I heard.
Yeah,
you paid for freaking PGA, right?
Yeah, with money that I didn't even have. Like, I just like did it, and it wasn't like, because they promise you like 10K in 8 weeks, which it happened. I just basically did like kind of like napkin math, like crazy math, but like, if they're gonna land me a 10K client in 8 weeks, and I have this much money, well, then it will just make sense. Like, I can just pay the money that I earned to them, Like, it made sense. So, yeah.
I mean, what I did. To be fair, like, I mean, the guys, like, they just have a ton of social proof, right? So it's not like, they can make claims like that and it feels like super credible,
Well, I made it work, but not with a lot of, like, I still invested on so many things, and it still worked. Like, right now, it's working. Like, I'm not, I'm still not broke. Like, I'm not living in the streets. I'm still living in I still have. Most importantly, I still have my girlfriend who took that beautiful photo.
Yes, like, good. That was the best investment you could have made.
Yeah, dude. She, like, I will never. I will give her anything, because I don't know if you like heard my story with that, dude. I was like actually really broke, and this is the reason why I am the way I am, like, in terms risk wise, because when I left home before, I literally had $0. Like, I had no bank account. Like I only had a bag with my clothes on, and just me. And then I went up to her, knocked her on her door, and like asked her if I could get in, and like I could live with her for a moment. And like just that was the start of kind of like the start of my life, because that's when I started from scratch. I had to like look for jobs and work odd jobs, which eventually got me into the personal, like the customer service job, which eventually led me here. But yeah, that's the reason why I was comfortable with like taking all that risk, because I really was nothing.
I mean, you got nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have nothing to lose. Yeah. I mean, that's a really, I mean, I think that's the principle. Like, I think everyone likes to hear the stories of like, oh, like that person quit their job and stuff. But what they don't like to think about is the fact that when people do this, they actually take calculated risks. Like, it's very rare that people are taking like ridiculous risk to do something, and that was something like I remember reading one of the books, Richard Branson's book, The Virgin, Like a Virgin, I think the first one. Yeah, like legit.
I didn't know that book, but for some
Oh,
reason.
dude, perfect. It's an amazing business book. Like he talks about his like entrepreneurial journey. And one of the things that I learned from it, like a lot of stuff, but one of the things I learned from it was why he's so good at what he does is that he will always look at the risk and reward and always put in place ways to reduce the risk behind what he does. And I think I hear about like your story. It's really like you're not your story is a bit funny because it's not like when you've got nothing to lose, then you've got nothing to lose, right? So it's all upside technically. The worst comes to worst is you're still broke anyway, right? If you take a risk. And I think about even my story. Like I'm not doing this, taking huge risk in what I'm doing. Like I'm still making sure that my family, we have a house over our head where my kid is going to be fed. He's going to be looked after. He still goes to daycare. We can still go traveling. Like these are the things that we still, are keeping. I'm not putting everything at risk doing this work. But I've got to bust my ass. Like that's for sure. And yeah.
Right.
So,
and so how did you, so just a question leading, or like a follow-up question to that, how did you kind of like calculate that risk when you were going to quit your job? Like what was growing on your mind?
So let's clear something up, right? Like I quit working 9 to 5, but I still do work for my company on the side. So that's like a side hustle for me. So when we talk about lowering risk, like I still get some income on the side working, so I basically have an arrangement with them where one of their clients is my client in a sense.
Oh.
No, it's not my client. It's their client, but I'm doing that. I'm working that job for them. And so that basically, frees up the rest of my time to do everything else. So that's,
they couldn't let go of their best tribal hero. You know what I mean? Like they just couldn't.
Well, I mean, like that client that they had is like one of the best clients, right? So they just need someone to deliver for it. And like, if I go, they could potentially still do it, but they do need to like hire, retrain people. So part of me also, like I did think about actually completely cutting off.
Yeah.
And there was 2 reasons why I didn't. One was like, I just knew I couldn't do that to them. Because like I said, I actually really, really like the company. Like I love the people there. It's given me a lot of opportunity. It's taught me a lot. The second part of it as well is my wife wouldn't let me do it. So she's like, nah, you've got to stick at this thing and keep succeeding basically if you want to eventually quit. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine.
And wives are always right.
And they're always right. They take the great profile pictures and they're always right. So yeah. So but but I did have to take a calculated risk around dropping my salary from there. So, like I can't live off that. The salary that I'm getting, it's not enough though to like, pay off all the bills that we have, but it's something at least that's coming in. But fortunately, I do make quite a bit more on X than I would anyway. So
Gotcha.
Turned out okay so far.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to get better, or like that. Like, what are your plans moving forward with X?
Ooh, I've been thinking about that a lot actually, and there's two. I'm trying to think what kind of stuff I talk about, but I guess it's not like big secret, and I might change. We'll see. So one of the things that I'm in the middle of. Let me start long-term goal. Maybe that's the first thing, because I'm thinking
Like
short-term,
5
but
to
maybe
10 years,
long-term.
or what
Let's go long-term and short-term, right? Long-term, like I'm in this, for the next 10 years. Like whatever X becomes, maybe X might become Y, Z, whatever it is, I'm going to be
Do you know
in.
that they're going to go back to Twitter?
No, bullshit.
Like, dude, it's this. Elon tweeted something. I was talking to a X creator. Like, he tweeted something about like, should we go back to Twitter?
No.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's so good. I love that. I kind of vibe with like X, except. Oh well. Okay. Well, there you go. Oh man, I really hope they don't. I think X is I think X is a cool name. Like I've come to like really like it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think X is like really unique, but at this, I don't really mind. All I'm thinking of is I can make money here. It doesn't matter to me if it's called X or Twitter or Y or Z. As long as I can make money, it's good, man.
Okay, good. No, I think my plans, okay, so this is interesting. Like, it'd be good to talk to you about this, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk long-term plans, because I feel like there's kind of two directions you can take with your personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I've been talking like to my mentors about, and there's been disagreement amongst my mentor ranks, which has left me a bit confused in the past, but I'm a lot clearer now. I think there's two kind of routes. One is to go down a route of maintaining influence, so growing your personal brand and focusing on growing a personal brand whilst maintaining, growing your bank account, right? So I think there's like an influence route, but still making money from it. The other route is that you let go of the influence route and you focus primarily on just niching down into a speciality in client acquisition in the Money X game, which you'll see like there's some players in the game who are very firmly specialists in Money X, but don't really give a shit about like growing any influence.
Fame, right?
Yeah, they're not after the fame. So they're the kind of two paths.
Mm-hmm.
I'll reveal my thought on which path I'm going to take. But I'm keen to hear from you. Like, what do you think? What are you going to do?
Oh yeah, I like that.
Or do you agree as well? Do you agree with this, or do you think there's like a different?
No. I totally agree with what you're saying, and I have talked like a lot of creators, and I would say that like I would like name those two paths actually. So I would name like the Money X, the pure client acquisition as kind of like an agency route, because basically you're going to be an agency, just doing it for money. And then the other is really like a brand. They're both businesses because they're both making money, but the one is like a brand and the other
that's all that's important to you.
Yeah, I would like Dude, I'm being exposed right now. Like, oh my God, Nathaneal, he just wants my money.
Well, I'm actually. I want to talk about that. Wait, I want to talk about that with you for a sec.
Okay.
Do you? Because you're saying like you came like you were broke, right?
Yeah.
Do you think your attitude towards money then is like that's kind of shaped your attitude towards money?
Not really. I think because well, I wasn't desperate. Like I wasn't thinking that I need to land the client. If X didn't work, I was comfortable just getting another 9 to 5. Like I was already thinking about it. Like so I gave myself some time. Be like, okay, 3 months, no, 6 months. That's how much money I have until I can like, say, kind of like give up on going all in and just do it on side and get a 9 to 5. That was my time frame. So I wasn't really like needy, but I was like working really hard to make it make it work.
Right,
to make it work. But right now, like I think my approach with money and with life was shaped a lot by Rich Dad Poor Dad. Have you read that book?
I've seen a video summary of it, so I get the gist.
Right. So it's like he talks about not using money to buy more stuff that will give you money. So that's how I saw. That's why I was willing to invest a lot, knowing that I will get a lot back.
Yeah,
that's how I approach money. So like right now, I don't mind if I have like $0 on my bank account. If I know that I can get money because I have the skills and I have the network, which I've spent money on before, like I'm happy. Does that make sense?
I love that. I love that approach to it. Actually, like that's super cool, and I feel like that's like an entrepreneurial mindset you need to have. That's something that I've learned since like I stopped working 9 to 5. Like it's really put me in this place where I've had to go do a bit of soul searching because, and I don't know. I mean, because I'm kind of like technically I'm relatively new to like doing entrepreneurial life. That I've had to teach myself that if I need to make money, I can. Whereas like when you're working 9 to 5, money just comes in, right, to the bank account. Like you don't have to ever worry about that technically, right? You just do your job. You can do a shit job, it doesn't even matter. You do a good job, it doesn't even matter. You just keep the money just keeps coming, right? Onto your back end. You don't have to worry about it. As an entrepreneur, you've got to back yourself and know that if I need to make money, I'll just do it. Like I have the skills and ability to. And that was something I had to retrain in my mind because I found myself falling into fear of like, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to be able to do it. My whole business is like going to fall apart. And then it's just like you just spiral. I mean, I don't know if you ever experienced that, but that was something that I had a bit of period. Through that.
I have like, I mean, I talk about how that's my mindset, but of course I'm still human, like there were many times that I was like just thinking about maybe I shouldn't have, because I took a break from university and I'm like, if I took a leave from university, that's going to mean that I'm going to get delayed with graduation. That means I'm not going to get my degree and I'm not going to get a like high paying job, those things.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things like kind of like questioning the decisions that I made. But I don't know. I guess I just shut that off. Like I just believed in the process because like it was a lot of trust because like I worked, I did the PJ, I worked with Nicola, our good friend, and like I just trusted them really. Like these guys, they said that's gonna work. I'm just gonna execute every day, like outreach, doing content, like just pumping out everything that they tell me to do, and then it happened. When it happened, when I landed my first client, I was so zoned in with like the work that I didn't even get to celebrate my first client. I just kept on working the day after.
Yeah. No, I get it. Totally. That was like, it was same with me. Like when I first got my client, it was like, oh my gosh, I got my first online money, but it wasn't like, I was just like, I just gotta keep going. Like I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this. The only time, when did you celebrate? When did you like actually for the first time celebrate what you've achieved?
Actually, just recently, like right now, because what happened right now is I'm getting, so when I started like getting, so right now I got like 3 inbound leads, which I eventually closed. And I'm like, everyone just keeps on asking for help from me and like asking for my prices and all that. And I'm like, bro, like people, dude, I was talking, so I was in a call before with Nicola before this, and like we were just talking. I was telling him like people are like seeing me as like a guru, like they see me as someone who knows all the answers for some reason. And that's when I finally like I kind of figured, oh my god, like all my work actually paid off. Like now I actually do have authority. Like people listen to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when I started like not taking a step back, but kind of understanding that now what I should develop actually is just how to systemize it. Because like if I just keep on doing the same thing that I was doing before, I would get burned out easily.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, going back to what we were talking about like the agency route and the branding thing.
Yep.
I do think like, and this is I was in a community call with Taylor Simmons, right? And he did say that, like he talked about that topic as well, because he went the agency route, right? Like he really drilled in the ghostwriting. And he said before, like, you know, what you mentioned earlier, the algorithm, social media algorithms before was insane. Like you would post a thread and you would get thousands of followers with one thread. He said that, but the problem he said was he didn't actually maximize that, you know, building a brand, which is like more of like a consulting. Instead, he was so honed in with the agency thing that he didn't see the potential of that. So he said, I don't know if he regrets it, but he did say like it is somewhat of a missed opportunity, because he thought that if he maximized that, like if he also turned his focus or gave some focus on that, it would have like given him, you know, he doesn't know what he said. He doesn't know what would have happened, but it sure was a thing to be investigated. Like it was interesting.
Wow. Okay, that's super insightful. Yeah. So you didn't answer the question though. Which route are you going?
Right. I didn't answer the question. Sorry, but I thought so. That's my insight on that. But in terms of for me, I mean, like how I got into X was I didn't even think of making money here. So right now, funny, like, you know, I talk about as long as I'm making money here, it's fun. But in the beginning, I wasn't thinking of making money here. I didn't go here through, you know, Danco saying you can make money online. Really, what happened was I like self-improvement stuff. And then I was reading, I always read, always have a book somewhere. And during like December, I was going through like book recommendations. Oh, how to change your life in 2024. And I stumbled across Nicholas Bush's book. Across Nicholas Cole's book, which is The Art and Business of Online Writing. And I didn't, dude, like when he talked about making money, I just didn't read that part actually. Like all I read was you can start like posting stuff, because you know I'm a self-improvement guy, and all I was thinking of was how can I improve my writing? How can I just be a better person? That's all. And so what I did was like answer questions on Quora so January I started answering questions on Quora and just like putting out my story in there, like the way he mentioned, because he talked about how when you answer a question on Quora, you should actually relate it to your story. So it's like there's an idea and then you relate it to your story. That's how he teaches it. And I would just do that for like 1.5 months. So I went to university, and then I went to university. I would go to work, and then before I went to bed, like at 4 a.m. before I sleep, I would like answer something on Quora. I do that like every single day for 1.5 months. Yeah, I do that with no investment. I just wanted it. I was just really into self-improvement stuff. And then like mid-February, that's February 19, I remember that. I started posting on X. So I bought the premium, like the tick, just so I could like post long form, literally. I didn't even engage. I just like took all my answers in Quora, the long forms, and posted it on Twitter. And then Twitter, LinkedIn, and Medium. Those are the 3 platforms that I post. 4 platforms, including Quora. And then for some reason, like after a month, my Twitter just blew up. Like 600 followers or 700 followers in like 1 month. That's when I started going into Danco and like all the money stuff, because I saw, whoa, like what's in here? Like there's so many people interacting with me.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started like crafting my offer. That's when I left university and like going all in money. But really like this journey started because I just wanted to write online. So I, like no doubt I'm going to go the brand route, like not the agency, because this is just something that I love to do. Not really money, but now that I'm making money out of it, it's fun because, I get to create more.
Yeah. I love that. I love that, man. That's so refreshing to hear. No,
Thanks,
for real, man. That's I didn't know all that side of the story, and I love I don't know, like there's an innocence in all that.
Yeah, I'm a 21-year-old baby, man.
Yeah, but like that's super cool. Like to just, and I think that was something else that I've been thinking about a lot, which is one of the secrets to, I mean, I'm not saying I've made it, but I've definitely hit some milestone, has been from just having fun.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you genuinely need to enjoy doing it so that like you push yourself to like do what others won't do.
Mm-hmm.
Send it when others won't send it,
Yeah.
And I think that all just comes to like having fun and enjoying the craft. Like it's kind of like gaming, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever gamed. You a gamer at all?
League of Legends.
I played League of Legends too. It was a long time ago.
I reached Diamond, like the rank.
Oh, dude, I reached Silver 4. I was like pretty casual, but I loved playing it with friends, and I loved watching it.
Yeah.
And there was a period where I was like fully obsessed for a while. It wasn't until my then girlfriend, who's now my wife, was like just cracked it and was like, I'm going to leave you if you keep playing. And so I actually like had to uninstall the whole game and I stopped playing. Like I literally retired. I told her cousins, because I was playing with her cousins at the time. And I was like, I've retired. I can't. It's either I'm going to become a single 40-year-old playing League of Legends, or I actually have to quit this game. So I quit playing. So I watched it. But I remember, like, I think of this like gaming. All of this is, and you said this before. You said it was like a game, because I really do believe that it is like a game, because you need to learn like all the nuances of like improving, whether it's copywriting, whether it's X writing, whether it's trying to do sales, whether it's client delivery, whether it's systemizing. There's all these techniques and things you need to learn to get results from it. And the beauty of doing it in Money X is that, in League of Legends, it's a rank, right? Like you go up to like, as high as Diamond or even higher, like Silver 4, right?
Yeah.
But on Money X, you just make money. Like if you're good at this, you just make more money and you'll gather more influence in the space. And if you aren't, then you've got to figure out like what is it that's not working, and you've got to figure out all the different like tips and execution or strategy to get better. So, but that's fun. Like you do it in a fun way. It's not it's not laboursome like studying or working or doing a 9-to-5 job. So
no, yeah, definitely. The League of Legends before, I spent at least a good $1,000.
You spent money on League of Legends, or what, on skins?
Yeah, on skins, on what's this? Well, the thing is, I didn't have a computer back then, so I would go to like a computer shop and dude, there was one time I spent for 2 weeks, I spent 8 hours on the computer. So it was my 9-to-5 when I was like 14 or something. I would just go to the computer shop and just like play games. That's it.
And just play League and
just play League the whole day.
Yeah.
I mean, it was it wasn't like degrading. It was not. I didn't like become a degenerate. It was just a short time until I decided it's not worth it. Like everything else is falling apart. I was getting fat all over the place. Like I was eating chips because it was the only thing available in the computer shop. Like there's no meals. I was like, eh. But yeah, one thing that I like, it also prevents you from being needy, which we talked about earlier. It's like when you're playing the game, or at least it's like somewhat of a sportsmanship, where you're like, when you get rejected, when you lose a game, it's like you have to like not what do they call it, like rage, like crap, they have a term for that, like when you get triggered. Yeah, rage quit, that's it. Like when you just keep on losing and then you just rage quit and you like completely quit League of Legends. You have to have a certain kind of sportsmanship with it to be able to handle failure and just like keep on going and like understand that if you lost, there's something that happened and you have to look into that. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Who should... Okay. So I will stop the recording right now and then resume. I looked. It's fine.
I can abandon podcast. No one will ever hear this.
How about now? Is it good now?
Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
Dope. Okay. So, yeah, so like the having fun, not being needy, and just being sportsman. One thing I did also want to say, like, did you used to play chess? Because like I was a chess player before.
No, I'm terrible at chess. No.
Okay, I thought because like you were both Asian.
We're both the same.
I thought you also like.
No, not at all. Like I think people, I don't know. Maybe I give this perception that I'm like this very strategic person, but I'm not. I'm actually more like vibey kind of guy. Like maybe I sound like I am, but really I'm more intuition. Like I tend to go sense things and then make decisions from that. But I try to analyze the sense making. So but I probably lean more sense making. Why do you ask?
No, because like that's how I've been viewing like X for like a week now. I've been studying like more marketing, more sales, more of this like positioning stuff like that. It really like because I was a chess player back then. Right now in chess.com, I'm at like 1,500 elo or something like that. So it's kind of high, I think, just to kiss my ego a little bit. But uh, yeah, it's just because like now I've been more into like studying the chessboard in a way. Like I've been like taking note of creators, like what they do, and like what are the gaps that are missing that I could fill in, because I think that's what business is all about. Because when you just like do the exact same thing, it's like, for example, think about like Coca-Cola. Like no one's gonna beat Coca-Cola at this point. Like Pepsi, even Pepsi, they won't beat Coca-Cola because like the position is filled up. But because they created, I don't know if it's Pepsi, but like root beer. So like it's a completely new space.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like a soda. I don't know what's called, but because they created a new thing, it's like it's completely different than Coca-Cola. So it filled in a gap in the market somewhat.
Yeah.
So yeah, just wanted to share that.
But I totally agree. I totally agree. Like that is the best thing. I can't remember what book I was reading, but in essence, you never want to get into a place where maybe it was the Alex Hormozy thing, where you want to compete with someone else, because like when you start competing as the same thing, you start becoming a commodity, and that's like a race to the bottom. Like everyone just starts eventually competing on price. So what you want to do is brand yourself or position yourself different to the rest of the market, so that you don't have to deal with that. It's like you just you stick in your own lane. And this is what all companies do. Like they actually all just stick to their own lane, and yes, there's tactical things that they need to defend themselves on and things like that. But at the end of the day, the branding side of things is all holding firm to their own positioning. Like Pepsi sticks to their own positioning versus what Coca-Cola does. Like they never try to become like one another. Like they're just happy to keep their own spaces. And I think it's the same way with the personal brand, which is hard to kind of, it's hard to explain the mechanism for doing that. But the way I think of it is rather than, because I think what happens for most people is that they either are too lazy to do anything for themselves, so they just copy and just do it. Like they're not in it to like really try to hone a craft or enjoy doing it. Like they have fun, right? Yeah. And so they'll just copy it. And so when you start copying everyone, you just become like everyone else. And that's like, then it's like, how do you ever copy that other person? I feel like the only way that you find your own spin to things is through experimentation. Like you just need to keep trying random shit and seeing, not because I think it comes back to fun. Like you just try shit because it's fun. Yeah. Like you're like, I'm going to write this post in this way today. No one's writing like this. And if it flops, who cares? I just felt like writing it and I'm going to put it out there. And the amount of times like I've done that and it actually paid off was really cool, because now you're creating your own brand, like your own way of doing things. Yeah. And this is like, cause like, Ben Chan, right? Yeah. And he likes to remind me, I love you, Ben, that, he created like these storytelling frameworks that you now see everywhere on X. Everyone's, now I know everyone's age on X, and it's like, it's very confronting to see how young everyone actually is. But like, that everyone's just copying it, right? And initially, like I remember, and I'm sure Ben won't mind, like he was feeling a little bit like, these people like taking my stuff and like using it. And I was like, who cares? Like it's a compliment, right? Yeah. And they're never going to be you, and you're going to come up with cool shit. And he did, like, and he still does. Like he keeps creating these new ways of like writing content on X, which is like, does so well. And it's like, I love that. I think it's like, it's why he's been able to do so well, and why some of the other guys, in the space, like I look at you as well, like you do your own shit, you're like, you're not like copying. Like, I mean, I think everyone in essence takes some stylistic, or not styles, but like takes elements from other people. Yeah. Like I think there's definitely that, but everyone just has their own or anyone who I think is doing well just has their own spin to shit, and they just,
Yeah.
and I think that, that's one of the things I really love about this space, like being able to see like people do fun things and being like, whoa, that's really cool, and it inspires me to try something different as well.
Yeah, like play guitar and stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me explain that story now. So I this was like, I can't remember how many followers ago, but ages ago, I was like, I just sang the song "I Love You 3000." Like, that song when it was really big when the Avengers came out, and then that like Asian chick sang that song, and it was like, "I love you 3000," and I was like, oh my gosh, and when I hit 3000, I'm 100% I'm going to sing this song when I hit 3000.
Right.
So that was the only reason, and I don't think people realize that, because I don't think they watched the whole thing, or they were just like they just probably didn't watch the whole thing. But I
watched the whole thing. I
Did
just
you?
forgot that it was about that. Okay.
It was about that. That's why I did it. I wasn't like
No. I'm not trying to accuse you of anything. I was just like, it was really funny when I saw that, when you posted that. I was like, whoa, Arnie can sing, bro. I was actually really excited. I was like actually really happy.
We should do you like karaoke?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I love karaoke. There's so many people who love it.
You know who else told me to do like karaoke and stuff like that?
Lena.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I've spoken about karaoke with her too. We should totally all meet up. Like,
yeah.
Probably, I don't know where, Dubai or Singapore. Singapore's probably a bit better for me. It's better for you as well, right? You're in Philippines.
Yeah, we should do that. And then
that'd be so cool. Did you see Ben caught up with a few people? He posted something yesterday, and he met up with a few people in Singapore. It was like 8 of them or something.
Yo, that's so cool. Like, that's actually one of my dreams, or like it became one of my goals, where I go to countries and like meet the ex-creator that I'm connected to there. It'd be cool, right?
Yeah. It'd be so cool.
Right? It's like you just met online and then suddenly you're like, dude, that would be so weird though. Like, I can touch the Arnie Ho, you know what I mean? Like,
who says there's anything about touching? Come on.
Oh, okay. I can smell the Arnie Ho.
Yeah, okay, that's better. I'll let you sniff me, but don't touch me.
Yeah. Oh, so now that, like, going back to what we were talking about, what do you think you'll be doing now, or at this
direction
point? Like, do you think you're leaning towards the agency or the branding?
I'm definitely branding. Like, I'm not an agency guy. Like, that's just not me, right? Like, I'm not the chess player that you talk about. I'm just vibing, and maybe I go down the comedian route. Like, I just bring good vibes wherever I go and try to teach people some things that I learn along the way. I think that's the route that I'm heading towards, and I think it's cool. I look forward to doing that. That's always been core, right? Like I said, like meaning, like doing something meaningful. Like and that's probably the part of my work that I just didn't resonate with, is like, I like the part of helping. Like, one of my favorite parts of the work that I do is like in the management consultant job, is being able to help 9-to-5 people enjoy part of their work. Like, I've had people literally say, like, when I do my workshops with them, or when we do our workshops with them, like, it is the part of the day that they look forward to. It's a part of the day that they actually enjoy what they do. And it's like, that's what it's about. And when I think about X, like money X, like, yes, you want to, obviously help people make money. But I'm not in the game of like helping people who are rich become really, really rich. Like, I actually have, different ideals around it. And I think that's important to come back to, like, because I don't know about, like, when I asked about the approach to money, I don't know about you, but, I'm not, like, I don't have big consumer needs or wants. Like, as long as, like, I can provide for my family. It's expensive to live in Melbourne, Australia. So the living costs are really high. So, like, I do require a bit more money to be able to live in Australia. But it's definitely not I don't need mansions. I don't need fast cars or anything. Like, I'm happy with just like something will get me from A to B. Just simple home. Like, I actually don't want a big home because I think it's like what a waste of space that would be. No, genuinely, like why do Mr. Beast said this once. I heard him on a podcast, and he said, like, why would he spend his money on a bigger box? And it's like,
Wow.
it's like, that's so true. Like, why would you need it? And I think there's like a whole ethical issue around it as well. Like, why do people need such a big house when there's all these people who are homeless and have no space? Like, you're literally part of the problem when you take up more space with your property, because then there becomes less land to build more homes that could actually go to use for other people, right? So
burn down the big houses.
Burn down the big houses. This is the other ethical issue with golf ranges. I don't know if you I went into the whole thing, how like golf ranges are so big, right? But they literally are there to serve the rich. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I'm not trying to stand on.
Statement.
Yeah, I don't want to stand up on my high horse and say that I'm like this person for the people, because I'm not. Like, first and foremost, I'm not. I definitely like spend more than a lot of people, but I don't have like, I don't want to be the super rich person. Like, that's not what it's about.
No, yeah, I definitely got you. And dude, to be honest with you, like, I only started like dreaming about like the 10K per month thing around X. I only started having those things because I went to X. Like, initially, I was, dude, like I told you,
that's the average salary for everybody X. So you've got,
yeah, it's like I only started like because it started like getting into my mind because everyone talked about it. But initially, dude, I was a guy. I was like, I even did it for free. Like I would write on X for free.
That's true. You did.
And then it just so happened that I made money. But dude, like my vision was just something along the lines with yours, like idea of meaning as well. Because all I wanted to do with the Quora thing was to like help young men, actually. Because that's why I wrote the thing that got us connected. It's like, my father leaving before I was born. Like, my mother, she didn't own me. Like, I was registered to like my grandmother, and they even like made a story where I was adopted. So like I struggled a lot growing up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I figured it all out, like that I'm a complete man, that I'm, the manliness, the most manly guy in the universe. But, I kind of turned out well, and I just want to help anyone who needs my help, wants my help. Yeah. So the vision actually is to like, so now that I see like the, just to share my vision, if you don't mind, is that okay? I know
it's your podcast, man. You can do whatever you want. Like, I don't make the rules of the Nathaneal Podcast.
No, because you might get bored, like I don't want the Arnie, because you're the Arnie Ho. I don't want the Arnie Ho to get it.
That's true. Just to be clear, I'm only the Arnie Ho because Arnold Home decided to take my freaking username, the asshole. You know what? I'm gonna go DM him and be like, bro.
Yo, I got more followers than you. Change your username, bro. Yo, I make money on X. What are you doing here?
Do you know who I am? I am the Arnie Ho. And then he'll be like, why are you changing it then? Like, why do you want to be Arnie Ho if you're the Arnie Ho?
Yeah.
I'd be like, good point.
Yeah. Touche.
Well done.
Anyways, like my goal is just to, I saw the power of X and making money here. All I want to do now is like get actually like more Filipinos now, because dude, we're kind of struggling. We're a third world country, and we're struggling, poverty and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if like all these people would just have access first, like learn how to speak fluently in English, and then have access to the internet, like they could make money. So that's my goal. I'll be like just get rich and then buy like a place where people would go there and learn English and like have computers and all that, and they could like make money online. And we're gonna be rich, all of us. You know what I mean?
I do. I think and I love that. I think this is something that I talk about with branding, that I think if you want to build a really cool personal brand, I think you also need that element of a mission, like something that goes beyond just making money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, because of that, I think that's also part of your, I think you've done an awesome job like building your personal brand. And I think because you've got that element behind it, it just gives you so much more depth behind your brand. So I love that. I think it's really cool. You should make it happen. I'm rooting for you.
Thanks, man. You're gonna be invited. Arnie Ho. The Arnie Ho. You're gonna be like the one who cuts, the ribbon cutting. You're gonna cut the ribbon.
Oh, thanks, man. Nice. I look forward to it. Maybe I'll I don't know if maybe it's a school. Maybe
it's gonna be like a Professor X type of stuff, like X-Men.
That'd be sick. You know what I mean? I'll be Wolverine. And I'll be like the bad boy who comes in and just like gets angry and everything. And just like ride off of my motorcycle. And all the kids are like, what's wrong with that guy? And you'll be like,
the actor?
It's the Arnie Ho.
Isn't Hugh Jackman also like Australian?
He's Aussie, yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you fit it, man.
Yeah, that's right. The new movies.
The Arnie Ho.
It's the Arnie Ho. The new movie's coming out. The Wolverine Deadpool movie.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. How about you?
Oh yeah, I'm so pumped. Love the Deadpool movies. I love the Wolverine movies and the Deadpool movies. They're all so good.
Yeah, sick. So yeah, it's been fun talking to you, Arnie. One last question that I do like to ask my guests is, if I were to ask you one question, or so basically, like, if I could have asked you one question, which you wish I could have asked, what would it have been, and how would you answer it? Does that make sense?
I think the question would be, what has helped me get to where I am the most? Because that's something I've been thinking about as well. Because I'm trying to reverse it. Like and this is probably part of it, is like, if you want to do this Money X thing, I think it's all about trying to reverse engineer whatever results you get for yourself as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because that, like, whatever you reverse engineer is what you can turn into a product. Mm-hmm. And that product is obviously how you can then make money and then continue to do more of that. When I think about this question, and even for even myself now, like as an entrepreneur, the things that you need and the things that got me to where I am include one, which is focus. So just focusing on doing this one thing, even though it might feel boring, even though you might feel like this is hard, but just sticking at it and get it out. Whether it's like, you were writing a post, a long form on X, and you're like, this is hard and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to get it done anyway. Like your answers on Quora, you just got it done like every single day for that month and a half. You just kept doing it. Like, I think it's the same thing, sending that post every single day. Like or whatever it is, focus. I think that's one. Number two, which is kind of related, but I think it's slightly different, which is consistency. So yes, I talked about like focus is like focusing on that one thing and then just keep coming back and doing it. Like, I think when I think about this whole journey, it's funny because I remember when I started, I saw these big creators that I looked up to, right? Like these people, I'm like, oh my gosh, like they could do no wrong. Like, how am I ever going to be like do what they do?
Yeah.
And now, like, I see a lot of their accounts, like they've quit and I've like overtaken them. I've seen accounts that, have now come to me and they're like, can you tell me like, what do I need to do? And it's so crazy. Like, it's wild to me, like to see that. And the only reason for that is that it's part of consistency of not quitting.
Yeah.
So I think there's that. And then I think there's two other things. I wrote down 5 things, but I can't remember what the 5th one was. But the third thing that comes to mind is gratitude. Like, we always think about all the problems that we have, all the things we're not good at, all of the things that we're lacking. And part of like almost like the counter to that is always gratitude in my mind. like being grateful for all the things you do have, all the results that you have gotten. And when you start seeing that, then it just transforms your whole mood and how you show up every day. And when you show up in a way that's just full of gratitude and positivity, then like it comes through in your writing, because your writing is a reflection on you. That's something I talk about with a lot of my clients, that like your writing is a reflection on you. You know, they ask, oh, I don't know why I'm not growing and stuff. And then I look at the content, I'm like, man, you've had a rough week. Like, you just write about how much you suck and how much you want to quit, right? Like, no one wants to read that shit. Like, people come to X to feel, to be entertained. Like, yes, you need to be real, but you've got to remember that, like, you can't just be like a Debbie Downer. Like, no one wants that, right? So I think that's part of it, like gratitude. And then the last one, I wish I remember the fifth, but I think there's one more, which is just about kindness, just being kind. Like, and when I say be kind, I think of it more of, it can be very easy to get into cynicism, like in this whole space, and feel cynical of everyone and feel, like people trying to get you, or people trying to cancel you, or but I think when you're kind, you just think the best in people. And when you think of the best in people, then like you then see opportunity. You see opportunity in just like reaching out to someone, and, like us, like you and me, like, it was like there was an opportunity in that. Like, and the kindness that I thought about was like, I wanted to tell you like how it impacted me, like reading your shit. Like that was the kindness that I was thinking of, like in that moment. And when you do more kindness to people, like I think naturally it helps with, you don't do it for the engagement and like building community necessarily, but when you do that, I think it does help that. Like there's relationships that I've built or from the backbone of kindness to everyone. And, I remember reading one thing about kindness, which is if being kind to another person creates a ripple effect of kindness around the world, because that person you're kind to is more likely to be kind to someone else who's going to be kind to someone else, which then, creates this ripple effect in the world. So, and it costs nothing to do. So I think they're the four things, qualities, things that help me get to, I think, where I am. And I think if people do that on a daily basis and you do that for long enough, you'll succeed.
That's beautiful, man. Can't say anything more. I mean, I honestly have a lot to say, but that would be like a whole other conversation. we could go on. But where can people find you, Arnie?
I'm on X, surprise, / Twitter. That's where I'm at the moment. I'm thinking about moving to LinkedIn at some point, and one other platform, not sure what. Maybe
and
YouTube.
Your username is
people should know by now, but it's definitely not Arnie Ho, because Arnold Hone, who's inactive, has that. It's the Arnie Ho, so go check me out there.
We should hunt him down. The other Arnie Ho.
Everyone go send him hate. No, don't.
I will hunt him down, look for his email, and just spam him. It's like, how dare you? How dare you?
You know what? Actually, everyone, I want you all to like cold DM him and just ask him if you could guarantee 1 million views in the next 90 days.
If you can get 1 million, you can keep Arnie. You can keep the tag.
You can keep it. That's true. That's good.
So it was fun talking to you, Arnie. So that's a wrap.
Woo! Thanks, buddy. It was a lot of fun.